So nice to see all of you again.
Happy to see you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna, Dhanavad, Pranam, all Shri Prabhupada.
All the Maharatis. How's everybody doing?
Happy to see you with the same spirit, Prabhu, you know. You got your power back.
Spirit soul is the same now.
No, but you are, because of a health issue, you are quite dull for some time, but now you are back to normal.
By your association, I'm getting back all the strength. Okay, if someone want to chant the verses, any volunteers? Can you hear me?
Yes, Prabhu, I can hear. Okay.
Yes, Prabhu.
Chant the prayers.
Ate, you want to go ahead? I can go ahead. Okay. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya. Chakshurunmilitamena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitamena Bhutale. Swayam Rupam Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Juta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parikjana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sahaganalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinubandhu Jagatpate Gopisha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrisavanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhuvya eva cha Patitanam Pavnebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Namam Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare.
So, thank you very much for coming online. It has been some time since I been with all of you. I'm so happy that I can again be seeing all of you. Guess this must be Krishna's mercy on me, and must be also all the kind prayers that most of you have done for my recovery. Thank you very much. I'm very much fortunate that I have so many nice devotees who are so kind and loving. I am indeed very fortunate. Mercy of Prabhupada and Krishna. So I asked our host, who's the host? Priti Goranga?
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Dhanur Pranam, all Shri Prabhupada. Yes, Prabhu.
So you can start the thing if anybody got any questions or anything.
Sure, bro. So, very firstly, thank you very much for again reconvening after a long gap, I would say, and ably all of uh, the Prabhus who had been giving us the classes. They've been giving, trying to still continue the momentum of all of the classes that we have been doing so far. And all the while, I've seen, I mean, most of our devotees here who have congregated, they haven't seen the journey. Even I'm not completely privy to the entire episode that you have gone through. I think most of our devotees would like to hear from you how it had been so far, right from, and what had been your realizations. The 2 cents that I could give, actually, I've been seeing all the while that in spite of all of the ordeals that you had gone through physically, I think the amount of, the amount of spirit that you had was humongous. I mean, made in the morning program, you had always been there. I mean, that was astonishing to see you picked up mridanga also and played while you were ailing. And I knew that you were doing just for, I mean, you were driven basically, not to put up a show or something, because there were hardly any people there in the morning, but you were so driven um, throughout this whole thing, and that was really, really inspiring. And even people falling for COVID, flu, and all, you stood by it, and really it's a testimony that you have never said something that you never practiced. And I saw it, and I was completely blown with that kind of a session. It just shows how much strength one can spiritually have to get into that apratihata mode, and that's the way that I have. So I'm really blessed to have seen all of this, and get inspired and try to imbibe that to whatever small way I can. But for the larger audience, if you can help to, to say all of your relations, what you have been through, to start up, and then probably we can ask our dear devotees to, have anything that they have any questions or any
Yeah,
points to discuss. Prabhu, Hare Krishna. Thank you very much.
and that, Prabhupada had 2 heart attacks in the ship, and he had a
Yes.
third one when he was preaching in America. Of course, now I realize what heart attack means. I went to suffer so much pain, and after that, carry on the spiritual program and work. I went, if I now I understand how much Prabhupada, had pushed through himself. Because I got one heart attack, yeah, and I have to go to the hospital, and immediately they kind of checked me out, and they kind of program everything for me. I got no choice actually. They did the angiogram, and then they say 3 blockages, and they already picked the surgeon who's going to do the bypass. Everything done. I didn't even ask me anything. Finish. So that's how they do it here. Of course, you could realize that how much Prabhupada endured all this pain just to satisfy the desire of his guru to preach Krishna consciousness in the West. So the kind of determination he had, I think it's very, very unprecedented. He's so solid in his desire. I mean, unless you really understand that you're not this body as fully realized soul, I don't think you can do that. Because I've seen many, many people with just a little problem with the body, they become completely, I would say, They become completely, I would say they can't perform. They become bedridden, they cry for help and so many things. When you never hear anything like that for Prabhupada. Although he was on the ship, that's the last thing you want to be when you have a heart attack. The ship is never stable. And crossing the ocean, because he said, if I had one more heart attack, I will die. So you can see, of course, now I realize what it means, having gone through one's heart attack. But the determination of Prabhupada to push the movement despite having all this is simply, I can only understand that he is definitely an empowered personality. And not only just going through, he succeeded in establishing. And later on, he had another attack. This time they brought him to the hospital and he somehow or other escaped from the hospital. He went back to India, got some Ayurvedic treatment, and after that we never hear any more of his heart attacks. So this is my realization that how Prabhupada is so determined. Because as a leader, I have to also do my part. I can't be sitting and crying that I have a heart attack, and no, I've got all of you to help push on what Prabhupada ordered us to do, preach Krishna consciousness. So luckily for me, my recovery rate is quite profound. In such a short time, I'm back again in action. Hardly 2 months. I've also been more or less congratulated by my surgeon that my recovery rate was quite profound.
Yeah.
Here again with all of you, and I definitely want to be of some service if I can to help, inspire all of you or even serve you in any way that we can establish our ISKM all over the world. I don't know how long more my body will last, but I think the preaching must go on. Yes?
Yes.
So anybody got any other
Yes,
question?
Prabhu.
Hello?
Yeah. Kind request to devotees if they want to ask anything, please unmute yourself and can ask or chat in the channel.
So many of you here, 44 of you. I'm sure somebody must have some questions. And maybe you're just happy just looking at me or whether I'm really alive or dead or something.
No, this is relishing.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, please accept our humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Yes. But
Your austerities are really so inspiring for all of us, Prabhu. Kindly guide us, like how a person who wants to progress in Krishna consciousness should take up austerities in every activity that we do, like, waking up early, then eating, honoring prasadam, how much, what kind of austerities we do.
the austerity for us, I don't know about you, but neophytes, we have to follow the rules and regulations very strictly. And we have to associate with advanced devotees. These are the two key lines. Actually, associating with advanced devotee is the fundamental principle in trying to make advancement. So this is very, very important. See, explain also here. I'm sure you know the verses, right? Oh God, here. I was discussing this in the class here. Can I show you that? This is the verse that we showed many times, And this verse, he says here, the root cause of devotional service to Lord Krishna is association with advanced devotees. Even when one dormant love for Krishna awakens, association with devotees is still most essential. So, but then to highlight this point, we had some more other, this 3:29, 18. So in this verse, you can see someone likes to read. Oh, sorry, it's 3:29. All right. So here, if someone want to read, hello.
Yeah, Prabhu, I will read. A devotee should always try to hear about spiritual matters and should always utilize his time in chanting the holy name of the Lord. His behavior should always be straightforward and simple. And although he is not envious but friendly to everyone, he should avoid the company of persons who are not spiritually advanced.
You see here, he should avoid company of persons who are not spiritually advanced. You see that point? Can you read the purport, please?
Okay, Prabhu. In order to advance in spiritual understanding, one has to hear from authentic sources about spiritual knowledge. One can understand the reality of spiritual life by following strict regulative principles and by controlling the senses. To have control in it is necessary that one be non-violent and truthful, refrain from stealing, abstain from sex life, and possess only that which is absolutely necessary for keeping the body and soul together. One should not eat more than necessary. He should not collect more paraphernalia than necessary. He should not talk unnecessarily with common men, and he should not follow the rules and regulations without purpose. He should follow the rules and regulations so that he may actually make advancement. There are 18 qualifications mentioned in Bhagavad Gita, among which is simplicity. One should be without pride, one should not demand unnecessary respect from others, and one should be non-violent. Amanitvam adambhitvam ahimsa, Bhagavad Gita 13.8. One should be very tolerant and simple. One should accept the spiritual master, and one should control the senses. These are mentioned here in Bhagavad Gita as well. One should hear from authentic sources how to advance in spiritual life. Such instructions should be taken from the Acharya and should be assimilated. It is especially mentioned here, Nama Sankirtanacha. One should chant the holy names of the Lord. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, either individually or with others. Lord Chaitanya has given special stress to chanting of these holy names of the Lord as the basic principle of spiritual advancement. Another word used here is arjavena, meaning without diplomacy. A devotee should not make plans out of self-interest. Of course, preachers sometimes have to make some plan to execute the mission of the Lord under proper guidance, but regarding personal self-interest, a devotee should always be without diplomacy, and he should avoid the company of persons who are not advancing in spiritual life.
So you see here, and he should avoid the company of persons who are not advancing in spiritual life. This is a very important point, is it? And how do you know someone who is not advancing in spiritual life? That means that person exhibits this sahaja mentality of taking things easy, You understand? It's like, for example, you may say, oh, chocolate is all right, right? Or you may say, Mangalarti, not so important, once in a while it's okay, Or he eats outside, any kind of food, any vegetarian restaurant, anything goes. So when a person goes into that kind of consciousness, and if you associate with them, naturally you will imbibe their kind of thinking, and you also will start taking things in a easy manner. Yes. So this is the pitfall, That's why in this verse, Prabhupada is saying we should avoid the company of persons who are not advancing in spiritual life. Just now we are at in the CC that unless even you advance, you must associate with advanced devotee. But here, Prabhupada is exactly giving, what it means, You want to read on?
Yeah, Prabhu. Another word is Arya. Aryans are persons who are advancing in knowledge of Krishna consciousness as well as in material prosperity. The difference between the Aryan and the non-Aryan, the Sura and Asura, is in their standards of spiritual advancement. Association with persons who are not spiritually advanced is forbidden. Lord Chaitanya advised Asasanga Tyaga. One should avoid persons who are attached to the temporary.
Again, association with persons who are not spiritually advanced is forbidden. It's not only that you avoid, you have to. Another big thing is that because you can see now people all in ISKCON and all that, people sometimes ask this question. After all, they are also chanting and they are also doing and all kind of things, But the point is that they have disobeyed Prabhupada. Therefore they have become useless. And you cannot associate with such kind of people. You understand? In the strictest sense of the term. That's why we have to be very careful, Spiritual life is not something that, chant 16 rounds and, become frivolous, do whatever you like, and you can do, you cannot do what to do, The kind of consciousness is not very helpful. That's why we have to go seek some advanced devotees we can take shelter. And we have to surrender, not just go there and so association means the first thing of association is to surrender. If there is no surrender, then how you can hear instruction? You'll never hear instruction, you go opinionate. And when you start opinionating, then how anyone can help you? So these are all pitfalls in trying to make advancement. Advancement means that, as he says, Krishna says also Bhagavad Gita, Tat Viti Parnipatena Pariprasnena Sevaya Upadeshyanti Te Jnanam. In that verse, that one must first surrender. And then one must do inquiry and then service. These three things are there. Of course, our movement, we all are surrendering to Prabhupada. That's a fact. We are not saying no. Prabhupada is our guru. That's a fact. But still, we need some kind of a Shiksha guru to help us, That's very, very important, actually. Somebody you think can, guide you, assist you, enlighten you, and that you also want to work under that direction. Those are all very important points, Otherwise, it'll just become, spiritual life will become stagnant. Eventually, you will give up and go and do your material thing. That's what will happen. Lord Chaitanya advised, Asat Sanga Tyag, one should avoid persons who are attached to the temporary. Asat is one who is too materially attached, who is not a devotee of the Lord and is too attached to women or enjoyable material things. Such a person, according to Vaishnava philosophy, is a person non grata. So you see, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu instruction also, Asat Sanga Tyag hai Vaishnava Achar. Stri Sangi A Sadhu Krishna A Bhakta Ar. So we want to make advancement, this has to be understood. Otherwise, yeah, we will go on, everybody will go on that way, going on. A devotee should not be proud of his acquisition. The symptom of devotee are meekness and humility. Although spiritually very advanced, he will always remain meek and humble. So that although even he becomes spiritually very advanced, he will always remain meek and humble. He always remain. That means this is a symptom. That he never try to exhibit all his progress, progress, he will never do that. He will always hide himself. As Kaviraj, Goswami and all the other Vaishnavas have taught us by personal example. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu thought that one should be humbler than the grass on the street, more tolerant than the tree. One should not be proud or falsely puffed up. In this way, one will surely advance in spiritual life. So this whole verse kind of highlights this point that you asked this question. And you see how relevant, how we have to perform. So therefore, we have to strictly follow the rules and regulation, starting with, and always keep association with the advanced devotees, inquire from them. And in this way, you surely will make very good advancement. That's a fact. But when you try to think that you know better, and that's another problem. And you try to think that, I know. Can you read this?
The incident herein described is very significant. In a previous verse, it is stated, Vina Mahat Pada Rajobhishekam. One cannot attain perfection without smearing the dust from the lotus feet of an exalted devotee on his head. If one always follows the orders of the spiritual master, there is no question of falling down. As soon as a foolish disciple tries to overtake his spiritual master and becomes ambitious to occupy his post, he immediately falls down. Yasya prasadat bhagavat prasado, yasya prasadan nagatopi kutopi. If the spiritual master is considered an ordinary man, the disciple surely loses his chance to advance further. Despite a very rigid life in devotional service, Bharat Maharaj did not consult a spiritual master when he became overly attached to a deer. Consequently, he became strongly attached to the deer, and forgetting his spiritual routine, he fell down.
So you see here, Bharat Maharaj was very, very advanced. But because he did not consult his spiritual master, when he became overly attached to the deer, he fell down. So, see how risky it is. So, devotee association is very, very important. Without devotee association, nobody can make advancement. It's not possible. That's why our movement is based, once you understand that you want the mercy of Krishna, because you know Krishna is the only one who can save us, but to go to Krishna, we need the help of the devotee. Without devotee association, nobody can become a devotee. That's not possible. That's why I say, no, Vina Mahats Pada Rajabhishekam. One cannot make progress without associating devotees. Not possible. You know, that's why you can see here again, this is another verse. In this verse, you can see how this King Rahugana, he realizes, you know, his mistake in deriding, what's his name, Bharat Maharaj, and he became fully understanding the position of an exalted devotee. So you see how important this thing is. In this verse, King Rahugana said, the birth as a human being is the best of all. Even birth among the demigods in heavenly planet is not as glorious as birth as a human being on this earth. What is the use of exalted position of a demigod in the heavenly planet due to profuse material comfort? There's no possibility of associating with devotees. You see this point here? Huh? You know, interestingly, I was reading this canto, and I was reading this part that in the, you know, the formation of the universe, different varshas, you know, there is Jambudip Varsha and so many, like that there are 9 of them. And in this 9, Ilavarta Varsha, so many, you know. So all these 9, 8 of them, their lifespan there, 10,000 years, and they don't get old, they don't get disease, they don't, you know, they don't die when they have a child, last of year of their life. Body doesn't have orders, particularly like the heavenly planets. But one portion is the earth. And in this earth, although the 8 of them have got all this heavenly quality, but just this earth, which is also there among all the verses, there is, everybody have to work, fruitive activity. And there's so much miseries also. There's one place, you know. So I was thinking, you know, come on, all these 8 places sound so much like heavenly. I mean, why we have to take birth here in this earth, you know? So much of pain, miseries, especially me coming out of this heart attack and all these surgeries and all, it's not so pleasant. So I was just thinking, why, you know, can't take birth there or enjoy life, you know? But then I realized this verse, there's no possibility of associating with devotees. So although we have taken birth in this earthly planet, but the greatest benefit that we all got is that we have got Prabhupada. And that's what this verse actually means. There's no possibility of associating with devotees, because what's the use of all this happiness from all these planets where you can collect gold on the river bank and what not? You don't have to work like anything, don't grow old, you get disease and all this stuff. If you cannot associate with the pure devotee, hmm? Yes.
Yes, so.
Hmm. So how much fortunate we are compared to all these other people. Hmm? Therefore, to get the association of pure devotee is so much more important than anything else, That's why I say even birth among demigod and heaven planet is not as glorious as birth as a human being on this earth. Because you can get the chance of association. So important. It is not at all wonderful simply by being covered by the dust of your lotus feet. And one immediately attain the platform of pure devotional service to Ajuk Chaja, which is not available even to demigods like Brahma. By associating with you just for a moment, I am now free from all argument, false prestige, and lack of discrimination, which are the roots of entanglement in the material world. Now I am free from all these problems. Exactly, because we have got Prabhupada, by associating with him, by reading his books, and associating with devotees who are surrendered to him, our life has changed for so much for the better. Don't you think so?
Yeah, Prabhu.
That if you getting this chance, this knowledge, that's why Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, no, many times Prabhupada quote the verse, no. Correct? This verse, I'm sure you know by heart, right? One was going where? What are you supposed to do here? Bhagavad Gita, is it?
Yeah, BG, Prabhu. BG space.
4:8. It's 4:9. See, and this verse Prabhupada quote this so many times. Janma karma jami devyam evam yo veti tattvataha tyakto deham puna janma nahi te mameti sorjuna. This is, I'm sure you all know this by the back of your hand. One who knows the transcendental nature of my appearance activity does not, upon leaving the body, take his birth again in the material world, but attains my eternal abode. Archana. See how fortunate we are that we, through Prabhupada, we have got this knowledge, Is it not? Huh? See here in this verse, one who has obtained pure devotional service by association with my devotees, always engage in worshipping me, and thus he goes to my abode, which is revealed by my pure devotees. So to justify that verse this now in the Bhagavad Gita, it correlates with this point here, that unless we are associated with the devotees, it is not possible to understand Krishna. It's not possible. That's why we are so much indebted to our spiritual master, Prabhupada. Yes, at least you know, in time of problems like, suffering some severe disease or anything, at least you know, oh, I have to think of Krishna, pray to Krishna. At least you know everything belongs to Krishna. Everything is done by him. So by thinking like this, we can save ourselves from the greatest problem, which nobody else have the answer. That's why Krishna says, anyone who knows this thing is very, very fortunate. In fact, he calls him a very great and rare soul. I'm sure you know, correct? Yes, he says, Bahunam janma namante jnanavan mam prapadyante vasudevam sarvamiti sahamatma sudurlava. Krishna calls him such a great and rare soul just by associating with the pure devotee. We also all get this chance. That's why we are very, very fortunate that somehow or other, after wandering all over the universe for how many lifetimes, we have all got this facility to associate with Prabhupada and learn this transcendental subject, this knowledge. Correct? That's why it is more important, although earth is a miserable place, but this facility has been given. It is a chance in a million. So how to make advancement? You already get connected. Now we have to strictly follow the order of our spiritual master. As Prabhupada always said, take it as our life and soul. Yes, you have no other work, because you got all your other duties, but they all are secondary. Our prime duty is to take advantage of this mercy that was given, strictly follow his instruction very strictly, and surely we'll all get this mercy of returning home back to Godhead. Undoubtedly. As explained here. He explained in this verse. Simply by giving up the association of worldly people and associating with exalted devotees, anyone can attain perfection and knowledge with the sword of knowledge, can cut to pieces the illusory association within this material world. Through the association of devotees, one can engage in the service of the Lord by hearing and chanting Shravanam Kirtanam. Thus one can revive his dormant Krishna consciousness and sticking to the cultivation of Krishna consciousness, return home, back to Godhead, even in this life. You understand this point? Even in this life. It is such a powerful program. It is not some story or some maybe, could be, might be. No. If we seriously stick to the program that Prabhupada has given us, then going back to Godhead is guaranteed. So try to understand how fortunate we are. All we need to do is perform unfailingly. Yeah, unfailingly. Every day, And to do that, you need strength. That undoubtedly a fact. And that's where association comes in. Association is so important. Then a person will become very serious. And when he gets Krishna in the heart, because Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said that you chanting very quickly will see Krishna's lotus feet. I've already explained that many times. And once you get Krishna in your heart, then everything is finished. No? And one seriously engage in the devotional service of the personality of Godhead, fixing the Lord's lotus feet within one's heart. As the only goal of life, one can destroy the innumerable impure desires lodged within the heart as a result of one's previous fruity work within the three modes of material nature. When the heart is thus purified, one can directly perceive, you see that, both the Supreme Lord and oneself's transcendental entities. And thus one becomes perfect in spiritual understanding through the direct experience, just as one can directly experience the sunshine through normal, healthy vision. Everything becomes very clear. Once you get Krishna, then everything is no more doubts, Everything becomes very clear. Everything becomes very clear. As the sun lights up everything, you can see everything. When, however, one is enlightened with the knowledge by which Nisan is destroyed, then this knowledge reveals everything. As the sun lights up everything in the daytime. So this is how things, and you become more and more enthusiastic, It's not that, you're trying to do it and you become a headache and all kind of thing. No. A spiritual life is something that when you do, you push yourself, then it becomes, more and more nectar. And then you don't want to give it up, You're always waiting when you can get back again that taste. Once you have tasted it, this is a verse also, right? 1:5:19, is it? Anyone knows? This is the verse. My dear Vyasa, even though a devotee of Lord Krishna sometimes fall down somehow or other, he certainly does not undergo material existence like others, fruity workers, etc. Because the person who has relished the taste of the lotus feet of the Lord can do nothing but remember that ecstasy again and again. Because it cuts through all these material desires, it just becomes very boring. The moment you get that taste, you always linger for that. That is spiritual life. Because we have to do some austerity. Austerity is following the direction given by our spiritual master without failing. We cannot do some shortcuts, then it's going to be a problem. Yes, I have explained at length.
Prabhu, I have a question on this, Prabhu.
Yes.
So because actually just now you showed in the verse, right? Like there is no devotee association outside the earth. But we also read like Narada is traveling to all the planets, and also there is in heavenly planet also we have Bragaspati, and there are so many devotees and spiritual masters. How to understand this, bro?
Yeah, they are there. But this verse is there, no? And this verse, I think it's here. Let me check. Huh? Demigods continued after performing the very difficult task of executing Vedic rituals, sacrifice, undergoing austerities, observing vows, and giving charity. We have achieved this position as inhabitants of the heavenly planets. But what is the value of this achievement? Here we certainly very engaged in material sense gratification, and therefore we can hardly remember the lotus feet of Lord Narayan. Indeed, because of our excessive sense gratification, we have almost forgotten his lotus feet. And that's a fact, when you enjoy your senses, spiritually you become dumb. Yes?
Yes, bro.
Bhogeshwara Prasaktanam, you know that verse, right?
Yes, bro.
The more and more you enjoy senses, then the resolute determination of devotional service cannot take place in the heart. In fact, Krishna said, the first thing I do if I want to save someone, I take away all his wealth. Correct?
Yes. Yes.
Ah. So you can only come to that point if you associate with devotees. That's why even Narada Muni, he did what to the Nalagora and Manigreva, correct? What he did? He took away everything and made them trees, no? Yes. So sense gratification and God consciousness, they don't go together. Not possible. And if you are put in a position where you can enjoy the senses unlimitedly, even now also, when we get so much time to enjoy, we forget. Correct? We compromise. Arti, all never mind. Tomorrow I'll see. Huh? Correct? So this is why it's so dangerous. Although, heavenly planet, so much is there, but devotees, they want Krishna. That's why devotees, they don't want to go to the heavenly planet or go even to Lord Brahma, go anywhere. They only want Krishna, no? Yes?
Yes.
Hmm? I think this is the verse.
The devotee who has offered his soul to me does not want anything if it is separate from me, not the position of the supreme demigod of the universe, Brahma, not that of Lord Indra, nor kingship over the entire earth, or over the lower planetary systems, nor the mystic perfections of yoga, nor even freedom from the cycle of rebirth.
That devotee, they don't want nothing. They're just fed up with this whole class. Because the higher taste, no. And this higher taste can only be given by the mercy of a pure devotee. That's why the Mayavadis, they worship their guru once a year and because he is just the guru or something. For us, our guru is for us is life and soul.
Yes.
You understand? It's different. Ours is everything is guru for us. In fact, Narada Muni also said, Prahlad Maharaj said, although I'm worshipping you, but actually my first worship is to my spiritual master. Correct? Yes?
Yes, Prabhu.
You know that verse? Hmm?
No, Prabhu.
Where's that verse? 7, 9. I have to do my service to him first because he has delivered me. Huh? Are you know that verse? Come on. Yeah. 7, 9, 24. You don't know this verse? You, huh?
28, 7, 9, 28.
7, 9,
28.
28. Huh? Yeah. So you see here, even now, oh come on, what happened? All right, got it. My dear Lord, O Supreme Personality of Godhead, because of my association with material desires one after another, I was gradually falling into a blind well full of snakes, following the general population. But your servant Narada Muni kindly accepted me as his disciple and instructed me how to achieve this transcendental position. Therefore, my first duty is to serve him. How could I leave his service? Is it this point? Huh?
Yes, Prabhu.
Can you read the purport?
As will be seen later verses, even though Prahlad Maharaj was directly offered all the benedictions he might have desired, he refused to accept such offerings from the Supreme Personality of Godhead. On the contrary, he asked the Lord to engage him in the service of his servant Narada Muni. This is a symptom of a pure devotee. One should serve a spiritual master first. Serve the spiritual master first. It is not that one should bypass the spiritual master and desire to serve the Supreme Lord. This is not the principle for a Vaishnava. Nartam Das Thakur says, Tandera Charana Sevi Bhakta Sanevas, Janame Janama Hoya E Abhilasa. One should not be anxious to offer direct service to the Lord. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu advised that one become a servant of the servant of the servant of the Lord. Gopi Bartu Patakamalayur Dasan Dasan Das. Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya 13.80. This is the process for approaching the Supreme Lord. The first service should be rendered to the spiritual master so that by his mercy one can approach the Supreme Personality of Godhead to render service. While teaching Rupa Goswami, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, Guru Krishna Prasade Paya Bhaktilata Bija. Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya 19.151. One can achieve the seed of devotional service by the mercy of the Guru, the spiritual master, and then the mercy of Krishna. This is the secret of success. First, one should try to please the spiritual master, and then one should attempt to please the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur also says, Yasha Prasada Bhagavad Prasado. One should not attempt to please the Supreme Personal Godhead by concoction. One must first be offered to serve the spiritual master. And when one is qualified, he is automatically offered the platform of direct service of the Lord. Therefore, Prahlad Maharaj proposed that he engage in the service of Narada. He never proposed that he engage directly in the service of the Lord. This is the right conclusion. Therefore, he said, soham katamnu vishuje tava vritti seva. How can I give up the service of my spiritual master, who has favored me in such a way that I am now able to see you face to face? Prahlad Maharaj prayed to Lord that he might continue to engage in service of his spiritual master.
So this is the difference between us and these Mayavadis. The Mayavadis treat the Guru as some kind of envelope, So the moment you get the envelope, you tear it and you throw away the envelope. That's the idea of the spiritual master. That the content inside the envelope, the letter is more important. So this is their nonsense. Whereas we cannot forget the mercy of the spiritual master at any point in our life. Because the spiritual master is so important for us. Yes? I think someone has some question again.
The chat is there, I think Raj Panchab also has something.
I was asking, I had one question that right now modern science is really pushing to try and make people atheistic, especially recently they are trying to push one theory of randomness and such. So what should be our approach for preaching in this situation? What should we do? We should just present Krishna consciousness directly. Whatever theory they say, unless it is linked to Krishna, it becomes useless. Yes? Yes or not? Of course, it depends on who you're preaching to. If you preach to some guy who got nothing in the head, then you just have to use logic, no? Yes, as Prabhupada always talk to the scientists who produce these things. They say Mother Nature. Who's the mother? There must be a father. Right? So that way you logically preach. But if someone is a devotee, then you preach to him.
ప్రాబ్లం ఉంటుంది కదా
అవును
పెట్టాలి ఇలాంటి వేసి ఆ రెండు జిప్పుల మధ్య
Understood, Prabhu.
Oh, yeah. Mom is talking in the back. So you can see
Understood.
that anything which is not connected to the Lord, yes.
జిప్ అయ్యి అంటే మళ్ళీ అది లాక్ అయిపోతుంది మనం
Need her, please. So it says here, very long purport. This is the 4 verses that the spoke to Lord Brahma. So anything that is connected, not connected to the Lord, so here I think this is the verse. Oh Brahma, whatever appears to be of any value, if it is without relation to me, has no reality. Know it as my illusory energy that reflects which appears to be in darkness. So try to understand this, So all these guys are bringing up so many theories. That is how actually Krishna bewilders them, You understand? Krishna, is kind of And then this is the verse. You want to read? Who's that? Ask you these questions. Hello?
Hare Krishna, am I audible?
Yes, yes. Go ahead, Prabhu. Raj Prabhu, go ahead.
Yes, Prabhu, I understood. Okay, I will read. Let me offer my respectful obeisances unto the all-pervading Supreme Personality of Godhead, who possesses unlimited transcendental qualities, acting from within the cores of the hearts of all philosophers who propagate various views. He causes them to forget their own souls while sometimes agreeing and sometimes disagreeing among themselves. Thus, he creates within this material world a situation in which they are unable to come to a conclusion. I offer my obeisances.
You understand this? And all this randomness
Yes.
and theories, and they are always trying to figure it out, correct? Is it not?
Yes.
Yeah.
Like sometimes sometimes it feels like they are purposefully trying to push atheism.
Okay, can you see this verse that I recently quoted? You see this verse here? You want to read this? Is she still there? You can read.
The great Rishi, no limit. Yes, yes. The great Rishi Sukdev Goswami said, "My dear king, there is no limit to the expansion of the Supreme Personality of Godhead's material energy. This material world is a transformation of the material qualities, Satogun, Rajogun, and Tamogun, yet no one could possibly explain it perfectly, even in a lifetime as long as that of Brahma. No one in the material world is perfect, and an imperfect person could not describe this material universe accurately, even after continued speculation. O king, I shall nevertheless try to explain to you the principal regions such as Bhuloka with their names, forms, measurements, and various symptoms.
Yes.
Yeah, no one in the. Yes, yes. Even
So
after continued.
they'll always be bringing new and new theories, no? Correct?
Yes.
But for us, the Bhagavad Gita, one who knows me knows everything already. Right?
Yes, Vedesh Sarvayarameva Vidya.
Whoever knows me as the Supreme Personality of God without doubting, the knower of everything, engages himself in full devotion. Yes.
Yes.
You understood that? It is okay.
Anything expressed by material vibrations, anything ascertained by material intelligence, and anything experienced by the material senses or concocted within the material mind is but an effect of the modes of material nature and therefore has nothing to do with the real nature of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The Supreme Lord is beyond the creation of this material world, for he is the source of the material qualities and creations. As the cause of all causes, he exists before the creation and after the creation, I wish to offer my respectful obeisances unto him.
Yes?
Yeah.
Hmm? Understand?
Yes.
For all this theory, we don't want to waste our time. We're not going
This
to
is just a waste of time.
also, we are only interested because we know Krishna and everything is clear.
Hmm.
Even if you don't know anything, for my devotee, I carry the. Huh?
Yeah.
They can come to me. That's in the material. How to go back there? Yes. What is
Yes.
the wasting
Oh.
time?
Yeah. And like they are like also like wasting the time of the whole world, basically.
Wasting.
Hmm.
There's another question. Why do we sometimes get desires to buy something new like a phone or clothes? Although initially we were satisfied with it, in the Srimad Bhagavatam 1:11:25, purport, Srila Prabhupada writes about the law of satiation that acts only in material world. Could you please explain this and how to deal with such desires when they come? So you may want to get a new phone or a new cloth or new something, but because you are engaging in the service of the Lord, so it is not so much of a problem. You understand? Anything that can be used in Krishna's service should not be rejected. I think you know this verse, right, Rupa Goswami? Anya Bilasita. Huh? What is that verse? Not Anya Bilasita. What's the other verse?
Anukula Sankalpa.
No. What is? Come on, this anartha.
आसक्तस्य विषयान् यथारम्भोपयुज्यते निर्बुद्धे कृष्णसम्बद्धे युक्तवैराग्ये
Yukta Vairag.
Yeah, what is that? Bhagavad Gita, 6th chapter, where is that?
10th verse.
6:10, I think. Yeah. So here you can see it is said whatever that can be used when one is not attached to anything but at the same time accept everything in relation to Krishna, one is rightly situated above possessiveness. On the other hand, one who rejects everything without knowledge of his relation to Krishna is not as complete in his renunciation. So getting a new phone that you can use it more in Krishna's service, there's nothing wrong with that, you know. But if you simply want to do it out for your sense gratification, then that's something else. You understand? So devotees, that much they understand. If something can be employed in Krishna and this thing getting old, your computer, for example, after some time they become redundant. You gotta get a new machine to keep up with all your programs, is it not? Huh? The phone is also like that. Sometimes your clothes also gets torn, you have to change. So getting something for yourself in the service of Krishna, there's nothing wrong with that. Is it clear? Is it clear?
Yes, Prabhu, it is.
But something that is very good and everything and you can use and you say, no, I just don't like it, and then you want to get another thing, then there's something wrong with you. Just give you an example. That one so-called guru, he likes swimming, so they build a big swimming pool in the temple for him. And then he went into the pool and he did 1-2 laps and he just said, I don't like this swimming pool. So they had to break it and build again. So this is something else. Understand? So we have to be careful. That's why we should always have association of devotees to tell us if we are not sure. Yes?
Yes, Prabhu.
Please read this on your mind first, Prabhuji. Then if you can, what was this? Please read this on your mind. What's this? Can I ask Ritvik question here? So, Piyush Chaturvedi, is it? So, who is dealing with him? What Ritvik question you want to know? I am new here. So someone can help him since he has got this Ritvik question. Prabhu 30 minutes ago. So, okay, let Nimai deal with you. You can always deal with him. Huh? I'm sure he will be there to help you. And I think you better if you can read our book. We have got a IS 77 book. And we also got many videos that you can watch first, and that will be very nice. And if you still got some questions, you can always go back to Nimai and he will be very kind to assist you. Yes?
Yes, Guruji. I have already read this book.
Oh, very good. How you like the book?
Actually, currently I'm in ISKCON, and somehow or other I got this idea because of some experiences. So I thought of understanding it little deeply, and I got a video on YouTube of Nimai Nitai Prabhu, and I got his contact number also there. So I started contacting him on WhatsApp, and already I was covering that 15-hour video of Tatvit Prabhu. Currently, I'm in around the third episode.
So you accept?
Yes, that is very, very convincing. But now, actually, but still, because I am second initiated, and by His Holiness Gopal Sai Maharaj.
What part of India are you from?
Huh?
Which part of India are you from?
I am in Delhi, New Delhi.
Oh, Delhi, huh?
My home is in Madhya Pradesh.
Oh, your home is in Madhya Pradesh. So good, now you are convinced, you try to, ask more questions and clear all your doubts, and then you can also practice being a disciple of Prabhupada.
Yes, Guruji.
Accept Prabhupada in your heart, and if you can help us expand this movement in Delhi or wherever, give this book to all your whoever you know friends, and that will be a big help, no?
What is the film number? Currently, actually, I am in a book distribution party in this, and also doing Harinam Sankirtan along with.
You are full time?
Yes, I am full time. Right now, I am at home. That's why I'm not wearing saffron.
Oh, at home, huh?
I have taken some pause in my life for around 10 or 15 days.
There is one devotee of ours also there, Akshay Krishna.
Okay. Akshay Krishna where?
He's there in Delhi also.
Okay.
You probably can get the number from Nimai, and
Sure,
it will be very helpful to you, you know.
Sure, Prabhuji.
How old are you?
What Prabhuji?
What is your age?
29.
He is about 20, I think, something like that, 20, 21. So you contact him, or you can contact here our Prahlad Dr. Prabhu, he's there. You can see him.
Yes, I can see him.
You can take his number also. You can. He's in India, Pondicherry. He's running our temple there.
Okay. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Would one like to go down and visit him? That will be also very nice, you know.
Okay, Prabhuji.
We are running a full-fledged temple there in Pondicherry. We have programs and everything. And then there will be a good association for you.
Yes, Prabhuji.
And
Yes,
this
Prabhuji.
try to help Prabhupada and help people who are all disillusioned. Many people are misguided.
Yes, Prabhuji, exactly. That's what's happening.
So you help us. Why don't you help us spread this consciousness to everybody and bring Prabhupada to them?
That's what I want to do. That's why I have dedicated my life, Prabhuji.
So you write down your number, and maybe Prahlad and whoever is in India, they can all contact you and also talk to you.
Yes, Prabhuji.
You write your,
I am writing my number to Prabhuji.
you write in the chat here, and then they will take down your number and they'll try to contact you also.
Okay, I'm writing down it.
Write down Prabhu's in India, Prahlad and the others. Can you just take his number down and then you can contact him?
Yes, Prabhuji. My name is actually Pankaj Lochandas. This is my material name.
What's your name?
Chaturvedi. My name is Pankaj Lochandas, my initiated name.
Pankaj Lokandaza. Who's your guru? Oh?
Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj.
Okay. So you leave your number, and I'm sure our devotees in India will be very happy to be in touch with you.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Since you are convinced about Prabhupada, it is very nice, and you can help us also maybe open a branch in Delhi.
Yes, actually, I have already done. I'm around working in ISKCON from 4 years, around 4.5 years, and for around 2 to 3 years, I was maintaining a center in Karol Bagh, youth center.
Oh.
But then this Corona came. That's why I have to close it. Devotees went home, so then I was engaged in another services like fundraising and then book distribution.
No,
Book distribution.
you can go down to Pondicherry or something just for a few days or a month or whatever, and then you can go back to Delhi and open a branch for us.
Okay, sure, Guruji.
Since you're already running a temple, I think you will be the best bet, you know. You can open our ISKM branch New Delhi. I think this will be a very good progress on our side, no?
Spiritually, I want to do this only, but because means I am feeling little bit hesitation kind of thing, because these devotees are there and they will ask me many questions and this and that, because I have not told anyone this.
Don't worry
It
about
is,
that. When we give life for Prabhupada, we must prepare to fight for Prabhupada, no? Correct?
Yes, Guruji.
So those
Yes, Guruji.
ask the question, you explain, and you show them the IS-77 book, the video, so many things are there, no?
Yes, Guruji.
And some can join you, so much better.
Yes, Guruji.
Correct?
Yes, Guruji.
Oh, that's you there, huh? Very nice, I'm seeing you.
Actually, I have a first. I don't know you know or don't know him. Dhaneshwar Prabhu, Dhaneshwar Das. He is doing a spiritual re-evolution kind of that is there, and he has written a book, Divide and Demoniac, uh, Spiritual Movements and the Enemies Within. This kind of book that I have read, and then I got this means. Earlier, I was not interested in Ritvik, because just by listening this word Ritvik, I was thinking, but because I was programmed like this, that it is a completely mentally concocted idea, it is completely illogical, and it is a demoniac kind of thing, Mayavadi's kind of thing, and don't get into it. It is complete time waste, prajalpa. this kind of mentality. So I was not even interested in it. But when I read this book, and then I started understanding that there is something wrong. Some problem is there at the top, and whose symptoms are being uh, seen at the bottom actually. Sometimes what happens that what we read in Srila Prabhupada books and want to follow that mood, that the spirit that used to be there in Prabhupada disciple during Prabhupada time for preaching. That spirit is somewhat seems like lost, and devotees have some other agenda, some other goals for institution, which is sometimes which does not sometimes match completely with Prabhupada's mood. Means it's like compromising. It seems like one thing I have noticed that the Harinam Sankirtan on the streets is now very much reduced as compared to the earlier, and even after progressing so much, now we have much more manpower as well as we have economically very much sound. Still we are not able to perform Harinam Sankirtan, and we are not able to challenge the demonic powers of this world as Prabhupada wanted. And I was reading morning walks also.
Most of devotees joining now, they don't know how to preach.
Yes, Prabhuji.
No knowledge. Prabhupada books are so much full of knowledge, but they have no knowledge because they cannot, the leaders, they don't even ask our people to read Prabhupada books. They're asking them to read their books, which is useless.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Right? Now you have been attending this class. So many points we are pointing out, is it not?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yeah. So they don't teach. If they
This
don't,
is first time I have attended this class, Prabhuji.
will learn the read Prabhupada books.
Yes, Prabhuji.
To help us. You please
I
help
just
and set up something in Delhi, the headquarters of India. I think this will be a very momentous service on your site. Krishna,
yes,
asked
Prabhuji.
you to become a Prabhupada representative.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Hmm?
Yes,
So,
Prabhuji.
Prahlad and all, you please take his number, huh? Have you got his number?
Yes, I
I
have
just
taken number, Prabhu.
So you please coordinate and see how we can open one temple in Delhi on Sri Krishna Janmashtami Day.
Jai. Hari bol.
let's see. I'll try. Yes, Prabhuji.
That day, Prabhupada appearance day is also the next day, so auspicious. Huh? Let us take and give it back to Prabhupada.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Hmm?
Yes, Prabhuji.
I was dreaming how to open a temple in Delhi,
Currently, my situation is that all my luggage, everything is in temple, ashram, and actually my service is to roam all over the India in bus. So I have means I have came to my home, and I have left the bus there. Means I have left the association of all the devotees in the bus, and I have came to take some pause in my life for 15 days, and then on around 7th or 8th we'll be back to Delhi. All complete team will be back to Delhi.
I don't know, you
Then
should, not so.
everything means my complete dependence is there only nowadays. This is my situation.
I would suggest that to our place in Pondicherry, spend a little time there and see how you can again help revive our Krishna consciousness in Delhi. That will be a very nice service for you.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Huh?
One thing, Prabhuji, I wanted to ask you that means there are many groups following Ritvik nowadays. Matlab, many devotees are struggling with this issue, and they are opening their own organizations. Uh, Like there is a Give Gita organization by Vrindavan Chandra Das Prabhuji. He is also from actually ISKCON Delhi, means ex ISKCON Delhi devotee, a very senior devotee. He has opened his own, and there is many devotees in ISKCON IRM, and there is Bangalore, ISKCON Bangalore, and many, I don't know how many others are there. So why can't all unite and so that we can all be more strengthened, more powerful against this issue?
Here, although each group is doing their thing, but you have to associate to find out who is actually serving Prabhupada 100%, you know.
Yes,
Because some
Prabhuji.
but they want to become gurus on the side also.
On that side also.
Some people are Ritvik, but they don't want to actually serve Prabhupada's orders. Now they want to do something else. So many people are doing so many things. But in our ISKM, our whole idea is to only serve Prabhupada and preach his message all over the world. That's our standing. So of course you are at liberty to go and check and see everything and all that. We are not stopping you. But you have to know what is the real mission of Prabhupada.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Because everybody will say, I am Ritvik. Everybody will say. But who is genuinely following and understanding, that's something you have to check for yourself. You understand? So that's why I'm saying that if you can come and associate with our devotees, at least spend some time and then you can trash out all this thing and they can explain the differences, you know. That
Yes, Prabhuji. Actually, earlier I was only about ISKCON Bangalore, the name of Ritvik, and I was having little hint about ISKM because I have watched that video of Nimai Nidero for the refutation of Jakin Naik's arguments. That video I have already watched. So I was having little bit idea about ISKM. That's in Singapore. But actually, I was thinking about that Ritvik is means ISKCON Bangalore. But when I watched more videos of Nimai Nitai Prabhu, that he's working so hard in China and struggling and having so many aspirations to open farm community and he's means full completely engaged and working very hard to make this mission of Prabhupada successful, and he's making nice videos also, and giving time to devotees. Means I was very much impressed by his activities, that he's actually he's actually dedicated, very much dedicated, very devotionally dedicated.
Yes, that is the test.
And he
That is the test. If
yes,
you
Prabhuji.
are really a Prabhupada man, then you should be dedicated to push like this. Yes?
Yes, Prabhuji.
So similarly, like Nimai, there are so many devotees in ISKM, like some devotees in Russia, some devotees in US, some devotees in China, some in Philippines. Like this, we have all our devotees spread out, and they all are dedicating to push this movement.
Yes, Prabhuji.
So it is good for you
Yes,
to
Prabhuji.
and learn, all our activities worldwide. Hmm?
Yes, Prabhuji.
So thank you so much for your.
Someday or other, yes,
Hmm?
Prabhuji. Yes. Someday or other, ISKCON will realize that what is truth, that will prevail actually, ultimately. Someday, after all, ISKCON will realize.
Without surrendering to Prabhupada, nobody can make spiritual advancement.
Yes, Prabhuji.
You understand? And spiritual advancement, the first thing is knowledge.
Yes, Prabhuji.
When you don't have this knowledge, then how you can make advancement?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Correct?
Yes, Prabhuji.
So you please try to, associate more with our devotees, and you try to learn from them anything you got doubts and all that, and then you see how you can dedicate, just like our devotees, and you serve in your area. Since you are, I'm sure you must be fluent in Hindi also, correct?
Yes, actually, my mother tongue is Hindi.
So if we have another devotee there also in Delhi, but he's going to school, he will be very happy to team up with you.
Yes, Prabhuji. What he's doing currently? Akshay, what you told what?
Akshay Krishna Das, I think
Akshay Krishna Prabhu.
devotees can give you his number and you can also contact him, you know. I think
Yes,
it's
Prabhuji.
Faridapur or something, you know.
What?
Faridapur, is that a
Faridabad.
Faridabad,
Oh,
yeah,
what is the? Oh,
coming from that area.
okay. Yes, Prabhuji.
And there are few more ladies also from Delhi. I think someone knows. Who knows here? Anyone here? Hello? Pavitra is there?
Vrinda Mataji.
Who? What's a hello?
Vrinda Mata.
Preeta, huh?
Vrinda
So
Mataji.
you can give him the number. He can also.
Yes, Prabhuji.
You can write down the number and he can take it and he can contact them also.
Yes, Prabhuji. Yeah, Prahlad Bhakt Prabhu. I will contact him
Yeah, you
and I
contact.
will. Yes, Prabhuji.
You know, see what you can do, how you can do for Prabhupada. No?
Yes, Prabhuji. Then Prahlad Bhakt Prabhu can share me all other contact numbers of Delhi devotees.
Yes, Prabhu. Yes, we'll discuss.
Yes, yes, Prabhuji.
So
Thank
many,
you so much.
many
Yes, Prabhuji.
you can associate also, huh?
Yes, Prabhuji.
So anybody got any other questions? One more questions. Manudas, oh, it's from America. Can you go a little deeper in the relation between surrender and knowledge and how they work together? Surrender is the first thing in Bhagavad Gita. You see here, in this verse, you see here, Tadvidi Parnipatena, this verse. So this is the first thing that Krishna says, you know, in this verse, that one must, approaching a spiritual master means to surrender, you know. So without surrendering, then the knowledge he gave you, or the question you ask and he clears you, but you may not accept because you're not surrendered, you know. So unless you surrender to a pure devotee, to get knowledge is very difficult. Now we're talking about knowledge, we're talking about transcendental knowledge, you know. We're not talking about anything else. See? So the surrendering process is very, very important. Otherwise, the spiritual master's potency will not be effective because you're not surrendered. So then when you surrender, then you inquire, then you get realization, which is very important. Just knowledge alone is not so important. You have to get realization. And that's explained in this verse. What is that verse? Narada Muni. You know, anyone knows? He took the offering of the food, he surrendered by serving them, and his heart became exactly like them. Who knows?
1525.
1525, huh?
Uttishthalepan.
Yeah, very good. Thanks. So here you can see here in this verse, He was serving them, and then he surrendered and he took, with their permission, the remnants of the food. By so doing, all my sins were at once eradicated. This is another important thing. Why we surrender? Because we have to clear all our past karma. If we have all this karma in ourselves, it's very difficult for us to make progress. So because of the mercy of the pure devotees, all his sins were eradicated. Thus being engaged, I became purified in heart. At that time, the very nature of transcendentalists became very attractive to me. See? As explained here in this verse. So here one should serve a pure devotee or twice born sages by serving those devotees who are completely free from all vice. Great service is done, and by such service one gains affinity for hearing the message of the Lord. Yes?
Yes, please. Yes, please.
So therefore, you can see here, this is same point that Narada Muni also got attracted to hearing. So when you, in that association, or Vyasadeva, in that association, by the mercy of those great Vedantis, I could hear them describe the attractive activities of Lord Krishna. And I thus, as I listen attentively, my taste for hearing, see, my taste for the personality of God had increased at every step. So when you surrender and you know, your sins are all gone and you start serving, then, you know, the transcendental subject become attractive. And when you start hearing, then you got the taste. See, then he gets the taste. Soon as I got the taste for the personality of God, my attention to hear of the Lord was unflinching. And as my taste developed, I could realize that it was only in my ignorance that I accepted gross and subtle covering for both the Lord and I are transcendental. This is knowledge. Yes.
Yeah.
So all this will come when you surrender. When you don't surrender, it's difficult, you know. You understand?
Yes, Gopal.
You may read and read and read, you know, but if you don't surrender, it's no use.
Yes, Gopal.
Huh? I was very touched to those sages and I was gentle in way, and all my sins were eradicated in their service, and my heart had strong faith in them. See, that's another thing. We have to develop that faith, you know. I had subjugated the senses and I was strictly following them with my body and mind. See? So to try to...
It's like sadhana bhakti. Oh, sorry, Sundar Gopal Prabhu. But that's sadhana bhakti.
Yeah, this is sadhana bhakti. Understand? So this is the method in which you can progress, you know, to getting this transcendental knowledge, you know. You understand? So try to understand the process, you know. So therefore, we want to make progress, just we have to follow the system given by Prabhupada. And by doing our sadhana, then we will get realization, correct?
Yes, Sundar Gopal.
Huh?
Yes, Prabhu.
And then the more and more we get realization, then we will come to the point of clearing all our dirty things in the heart. Then we become fixed up, then we get taste, then we get association of the Lord. One thing after the other.
Yes, Sundar Gopal.
So try to understand the process. First thing you get is knowledge, This is the first thing you must get, knowledge. Without knowledge, you cannot make progress,
सन्यासी बन गए और इंडिया भी आए और अभी वृंदावन मथुरा में अगर आप देखें तो इतने सारे फॉरेनर्स हैं कैसे आ गए क्योंकि प्रभुपाद जी भगवद गीता एज इट इज
Any other questions?
बैच है वहाँ 100-700 वर्जन्स ऑफ भगवद गीता ऑलरेडी थे लेकिन
One last question, Prabhu. This is a small question. We're not supposed to look at any images or try to make an image of Krishna while we're chanting Japa, Prabhu. So do we just when we're chanting, do we just look off into space and just try to focus on hearing Prabhu?
Well, the method that Prabhupada taught us is to hear the holy name, So while you're chanting Hare Krishna, you try to hear, So by hearing and hearing, one day Krishna will appear in your mind, You understand? This thing comes naturally, you see. But the hearing is stress most. When we chant, we have to attentively hear, And Prabhupada even gave the mood like a child crying for the mother, So when we maintain this, usually, as Prabhupada said, you'll be able to see Krishna. So we don't have to go out of the way to artificially try to imagine and all that. That's going to be difficult because you cannot capture Krishna, It's not possible. You may try, but difficult. So until you are really, pure, then we can see things all clearly, Krishna then reveals himself to the devotee. That's why Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, I give you the understanding in which you can come to me, Yes? So don't try, of course, you always think hearing about Krishna and all, naturally your mind wants to, kind of figure out and see Krishna or something like that. But that's not the technique. The technique is to hear,
The biggest problem with our thing is we don't
Just try to hear, then you see everything will fall in place. Yes? So as Prabhupada said, we have to be patient, no? It's not something that we imagine or what. Krishna consciousness doesn't work like that, no? Krishna consciousness work with devotion, sincerity. Correct. So good that you have taken up the process. How's your health now? Is it better?
Very much better, Sundar Gopal Prabhu. And not only my health is better, my sadhana is better, Sundar Gopal Prabhu. Very much so. Somehow or other, Krishna brought up this topic. So thank you, Krishna. And so thank you for speaking on this, Sundar Gopal Prabhu.
With the ISKM, you are making very good advancement.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, Sundar Gopal.
Oh, very good. We are very happy to have an American with us, dedicating his life for Prabhupada. I'm so impressed. Actually, I gave you initiation on the day of my heart attack, you know.
It was by your mercy from the Gopal.
You guys were having your ceremony. I said, please go on. I cannot forget the day when you got initiated, so it'll be always there in my mind. So you please try to do something for Prabhupada.
Yes, in the Gopal. Very much so.
We all try to work, try to do something for Prabhupada. So try, huh? Any other question? Or some more question on the chat? Huh? What is that? I also new to Venkat Yasola. Huh? I am also new to ISKM. I would like to associate with devotees. Very grateful to come across ISKM. I am from Bangalore. So you can leave your number. Venkat Prabhu, you leave your number. I'm sure the devotees will be very kind to get back to you. We have also devotees in Bangalore that probably you can associate also with.
Okay, Prabhuji, thank you.
You leave your number behind and they will get back to you. You leave it in the chat. Huh?
Okay, sure, we'll do that. Thank you, Prabhu.
So there's another question. Prabhuji, generally women are by nature, women are by nature soft, weak, sentimental, not as steady or fixed as men. So most of the things they do is very with sentiment without any logic. Does this mean that they are in wrong devotional service? But how can they leave their natural behavior? For example, a mother does everything to a child with sentiment like a father who is strong. If she also, like father who is strong and dominant, then how can the child get emotional nourishment? So how a woman can leave a natural sentiment behavior and be without emotion like men? So of course you have to be a mother, nobody is saying no. And the father will be a father, that's also there. So therefore it requires these two hands to clap, you know. The mother will play the role as a mother, the father plays the role as the father. But spiritually speaking, although she may be having all this emotion and all that, she must be guided by the spiritual master and husband, if is the possible, strong husband, and the scriptures, you know. So in that way, she may get emotional, but because of some higher knowledge and guidance, she will be protected. So this is how it works. Just like the disciple, they may be weak, no? But because they are under the guidance of the spiritual master, so then they also make spiritual advancement.
So even if they have sentiments, then also they'll be protected, Prabhuji.
Yeah, even whatever sentiment, if the spiritual master or the husband, if it corresponds with scripture, then they will encourage. If it doesn't correspond with scripture, then they will correct.
Yes.
Understand? Because emotion works with the mental thing, you know. So mentally you always will be having defects. So when you get to scripture, then immediately by scriptural direction, you will then learn, oh, I should not be thinking like this. No, I should be correcting myself like that.
So mistakes will happen, no, Prabhuji, every now and then if we feel like that.
That's why we are neophyte, no? Neophyte is always making mistakes, no?
Okay.
Correct? If you are a pure devotee, then you will not make any mistakes. But to get there, We have to stumble through many obstacles, is it not?
Yes.
And while stumbling, we should have somebody to pick us up all the time. Yes?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Or to tell us, no, don't go this way, you will stumble. Yes?
Yes.
Yeah, so you're protected. That's why Krishna said in the Bhagavad Gita also, no? If you listen to me, you will cross all obstacles. If you don't, you will be lost. Correct? Machita Sarva Durgani, yes? You know?
No, Prabhuji.
You don't know. Okay, I'll show you the verse. Machita Sarva Durgani, Mat Prasada Tarishyasi, Atachatvam Ahankaran, Nashosyasi Vinashyasi. If you become conscious of me, you will pass over all the obstacles of conditioned life by my grace. If however you do not work in such consciousness but act through false ego, not hearing me, you will be lost.
Yes.
So therefore you'll be protected, guided, if you stay in course.
Yes.
That's why the women are told to surrender to the husband.
So it's okay only. I mean, it's fine to be like that only, Prabhuji, because we are protected. Even if we have sentiments or emotions, that behavior, which is weak.
Young as you got somebody stronger to associate with, as I started as advanced devotee to associate with, you are safe, no?
Yes. Because it is naturally we are like that, so we cannot change natural thing to something like imitating or mocking to be like strong or fixed.
That's why the woman, husband, she gets half the spiritual asset of the husband.
Okay. Yes.
Goodness, no. So whatever spiritual credit the husband does, half of it goes to the wife. Huh? Why? Because the woman is weaker, as you say, no?
Yes. Now I see.
So you find somebody who is strong, you get married, and that way you make progress.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Or if not the case, at least they surrender to some authority and work together.
Yes, yes, Prabhuji. Thank you, Prabhuji. I have one question. So there are some Mayavadi philosophers, like devotees, but they are attending the Bhagavad Gita call, and they don't ask any questions at all. They, as if they understand, they just listen. But at the end of the day, they don't want that philosophy to be called as Mayavada. And when we showed the evidence from Chaitanya Charitamrita, I mean, where Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says all those things, like with from Padma Puran, the verse, and then what Lord says and what Lord Shiva himself says, but still they don't accept it. And they say that we respectfully don't want to be called as Mayavada, and they still attend the call. So how should we just leave them attend the call, or we just have to give them more information on this?
Actually, people who are Mayavad, unless they surrender to the devotees, it's very difficult to help them. So if they are argumentative and they are not wanting to surrender, then what's the use, just waste our time, no?
Okay.
Better to leave them alone, let them do their own thing, no?
No, but they are joining the calls and they are hearing, and in the call they are just simply arguing and making other people also confused with this.
That's why you block him, no? Why you have entertained him?
Okay.
What's the use of the guy, he's going to disturb all your men.
Sure.
Either you preach to him alone and don't let him mix because he's creating a disturbance. That's Those who don't follow the Shastra, Shruti, Smriti, Puranadi, they will simply create a disturbance. Yes? And then your other people also disturb, and you have more difficult headaches for you.
Okay, Prabhu.
Just block him, say he's too advanced for you. You tell him to go to some other advanced school.
Okay, Prabhu.
Correct?
Sure, Prabhu.
It's what we have to do. Sometimes we have to be careful.
Sure.
Mayavadi Sunile Sarvanash Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Mayavadi Mere Aparadi. What is the point? What is the use of this guy? Yes? Willing to learn, then yeah. You're not willing to learn, why? Correct?
Sure, Prabhu. Thank you so much.
Any other question? So, anything else?
Hare Krishna Prabhu, I have a question. I'm Shubhadra Mataji's friend. How to raise kids in Krishna conscious, Prabhu? There is a karma. I was asking the same question to somebody else. Those said you do whatever you want, but at the end of the day, it is their karma. So if it is going to be the karma, it's confusing, right? So we are trying very hard, to bring the kids in Krishna consciousness. And if there is a karma is going to take the lead, then should we try? Or we have to try. I know that, but the question is how do we do that?
If karma is more bigger than God, then we should all worship karma, no?
Yes. Yeah, agree.
Yeah?
Yeah, you're right.
So that's why Krishna said in the Bhagavad Gita, the last verse almost, abandon all variety, religion is surrender to me, I will deliver you from all karma. Do not fear. Understand?
Yeah, I understood, Prabhu. That is applicable for me. Okay, so because I believe in Krishna, so I believe his words. So I'm trying to surrender. But how about the kids? But because they are immature, they are not, they don't know what is surrender and they don't know.
You train them just like a spiritual master, he trains his younger disciples who don't know anything. Yes? Correct? So you train them, you give them the right direction. Don't do this, don't do that. And bring them. That's your idea. In fact, one should not be mother, father, guru, demigod, unless he can deliver his dependents. You understand? So your job is to bring them to Krishna. First you have to surrender to Krishna and then you teach them to go to Krishna. No problem. Or you bring them to where are you from? Bangalore, is it? Where?
I'm from Dallas, Prabhu, US, Dallas.
Oh, okay. Dallas, so there you can go bring your children to the program and all that. They will teach, correct? Yes?
Yeah, Prabhu.
So you got guidance, you follow and learn. And as you learn, you make progress, correct? And you teach you how to surrender, how to get connected to Krishna, to the Guru. And by all your sinful activities will be eradicated. The moment you take initiation, karma is all finished. You understand? Yeah. So with a clean slate, you start your spiritual life. And for devotees, there's no more karma. Because they surrender to Krishna, all the karma is burnt.
What will be the steps to educate kids, Prabhu? How do we slowly pull them?
What to do with what again? Let me first show you this verse. Yeah, for those who engage in, you want to read this?
Yeah, I can, Prabhu. Just 1 minute, I'm going to the screen. For those who are engaged in devotional service of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, all sinful reactions, whether fructified in the stalk or form of a seed, gradually vanish.
Is that?
You want to continue? Yeah.
So all your karma is vanished the moment you engage in devotional service? Yes?
Yeah, that's what it says.
So what's your next question?
No, Prabhu, I was only checking on the kids. Like, how do we engage them? How do we preach them? You know, I am initiated. I'm first initiated. The question is like, how do we preach them?
Your children, is it?
Yeah, for the children, yes.
How old are they?
One is 14. Another one is 8.
8.
Yes, Prabhu, 2 kids.
Yeah, your children, is it boys or girls?
2 boys, Prabhu.
So you bring them to the Dallas program on Sunday, huh?
Okay, Prabhu.
You let the devotees talk to your children, because you tell them they may become a little bit resistive, no?
Right.
So you go to the temple and then they will tell the kid, and the kid will, just like school, when the teacher says something, the guy listens, no? Yes?
Yes.
You allow them, the devotees there in the Dallas temple, to help your kids, and they'll become very nice devotees by telling them what to do, what not to do,
Yeah, Prabhu. Yes. Yeah.
So then they become more purified. If they start chanting and everything, the consciousness changes, and then they will become very happy. They'll listen to you. They'll do everything properly.
Yeah.
So you got good. You can go there. You got a place down. The devotees are there. Everything. How far you live from the Dallas temple?
Where is the temple, Prabhu? Dallas.
Where, Manu? Where are you? Dallas?
Hare Krishna. We're actually in Plano, Texas. It's
Plano.
around,
Okay.
yes, Plano and Frisco. That's our
I'm
area.
in McKinney, Prabhu.
McKinney.
Yeah.
That's close to Dallas, it looks like.
One you can do, Mataji, you can write your number in the chat.
Sure, Prabhu. Yeah.
And they will contact you, and then from here you can, they will lead you on.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
You
Prabhu.
the number in chat, and Manu, you help contact her and guide her, please.
Yes, Prabhu.
Thank you so much for coming on board, Mataji.
Thank you.
Prabhupada. Yeah, so actually, it's a very nearby only. McKinney and Plano is very near. I think it's a question of
20 minutes. Right, like 20 minutes, right? Yeah. Yeah, near Prabhu. I'm aware. Yeah.
So you write number. They are both there. They can help you. No.
Yeah, so it's Frisco is nearby only, so it's very good.
So you take the number, please help her, that'd be nice.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you.
Any other questions? Nothing else, huh? So I guess I have to thank all of you for giving me this nice chance of serving all of you, making me Krishna conscious. Thank you so much.
No, Prabhuji, you are making a Krishna conscious, Prabhu. You are giving, you are showing the right path. So it's a very much, we are very much thank you that you've been now very much fit. And we've been very also, where we are very lucky and very fortunate also that we have a chance to listen to you, Prabhu.
Thank Krishna for keeping me alive. He would have killed me, but he given me some more time. So, okay, it's very nice. I hope you enjoyed the session. Thank you, so many of you. Please, you follow up with all the devotees who have wanted association. Kindly, you, what's his name? Devotee in Delhi, Prahlad, and all of you, please.
Piyush Chaturvedi. Pankaj Lochandar.
Yes, whoever wants association, you can write your number, and our devotees will definitely get back to you. And in this way, you can have more sessions with them. Thank you
Yes,
all.
Prabhuji. Already I'm in contact with the devotees now.
Yes, very good. So this is how we make progress, we keep in touch. We learn how to help each other, serve Prabhupada, and Prabhupada will be the most happy, Yes?
Yes, Prabhuji.
So Hare
Sure,
Krishna.
Prabhuji.
I will stop the share. I can see all of you then. I can see all of you now. So thank you again. Thank you very much for all of your time.
Thank you. Thank you.
Hare
Thank you
Krishna,
very
Prabhu.
much, Sundar Gopal
Hare
Prabhu.
Hare Krishna,
All glories to you, all glories to Srila
Krishna
Prabhupada.
Prabhu, please accept my obeisance. It's all Srila
Hare
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Thank you very much.
Prabhu.